First of all, thank you for this opportunity, and we think this is a good opportunity to showcase some new technologies that can be used for real-time monitoring in the space of food processing industry. So, my name is Varun Sridharan. I'm the founder of Greenvironment Innovation Marketing India Private Limited. So, we are a startup that was incubated from IIT Madras Environmental Engineering Division. So, we were trying to see how these environmental technologies that are used in different industries, buildings can be operated or efficiently managed. In turn, we kind of landed up using IoT as a enabler for doing these, or really solving problems in terms of, an industry or an engineering team which is managing a factory. So we have been working with different types of, like automobile industries, food processing industries, and all these industries to understand the water, energy, and kind of environmental overall impact that is happening, and how can we solve these problems effectively. So that's a brief introduction about our company. Um, I'll start with why we really need real-time monitoring in food processing units, because I think today everybody thinks IoT or real-time monitoring is just a set of sensors that is connected and gives a lot of information. But there is no real core reason why somebody should go for it. So we've just got these 6 points we feel that will enable use of IoT in food processing units. First is very important. The entire food industry is dependent on water. Water plays a very important role. So reducing the consumption of water is very important. In turn, it will reduce the the cost that is spent on water. So that's one very important reason why we should do real-time monitoring. Second is equipment life cycle support. So equipments in a food processing unit, there are a lot of different equipments like washing machines to huge high duty boilers. A lot of these equipments which are used in these industries really has to be operating along with what is the actual plan that has been put or as per the design. So equipment life cycle is very important, and we think IoT can solve this problem. The next thing is why we think IoT and real-time monitoring is required is reduce skilled manpower. So most of the organizations we found which were working, they always have depended on a lot of technical expertise or skilled manpower requirement for managing, say, a simple RO plant is seen as a highly complicated system in the plant. In a factory that requires skilled manpower. So we found many people telling us that we don't have skilled people to handle certain complex things, which results end of the day results in a lot of challenges. So you can actually reduce your skilled manpower requirements if you have real-time monitoring in IoT. Next is the fourth reason why we think there's a need is reliable data that is required. So today, one of the things that we have seen is that how to create the data is what IoT can be an enabler. So once you have data, how do you actually use that for making useful decisions? So you can't actually sit with a lot of data and wait for this thing. But what we need to do is we have to use this data as an enabler to take decisions. For example, today, what is the operating cost of the factory in terms of managing the fresh water? What is the cost for managing the recycled water? So these are all some of the data that you really require on the fingertips to actually make useful decisions. So this is another very important need. And then, of course, energy savings. As we increase production, as we increase more and more of the sophistication, so the energy consumption is also increasing a lot. So there are a lot of ways in which energy can be reduced if we are going as per the design and operational data. So energy monitoring is also a very important aspect for this for the real-time monitoring. And the sixth reason that we feel real-time monitoring is important is today every factory wants to go green and does not want to pollute the environment. So today there are sensors, there are a lot of solutions that can be put to monitor and make sure that all the operations of your wastewater treatment plants all these things are managed effectively so that we don't pollute the environment as an industry. So these are the a broad picture of why real-time monitoring really adds value to a food processing unit. So next, I'll go into how real-time monitoring is going to be done, because this is something today, post lockdowns and all this everywhere. We've seen people asking, okay, I need to see virtually how my facility is working. What are the things happening? So a lot of transformation has happened in the last 6 months. So as a company, Greenvironment has been into IoT from 2016, where we had got some funds from the Department of Science and Technology to develop real-time monitoring systems for water, air, energy, and make sure that these data is useful to increase the efficiency of a utility. So basically, water utilities are, these are water treatment plants. These could be RO plants, DM plants, different treatment plants, sewage treatment plants, effluent treatment plants. All these treatment plants are connected to a smart sensors. So these sensors will have water quality, air quality within the space, how much flow is measured at different points, energy consumption level, pressure, temperature. Then comes the next part of IoT, which is basically the automation that we can put. Once you have enough data, you can automate certain processes like auto dosing systems. So for example, you have to do a pH correction, or you have to do make sure that correct chlorine is dosed based on what is required. So that's also these are the things that can be connected to an IoT device, which will give us a lot of data. So once this data goes, there's a dashboard that can be looked at from an engineering stage level, as a management level. So there are different levels at which these dashboards can be looked at, which will have alerts and also insights. Like for example, if somewhere dosing of particular chemical has gone down, so what is the amount of, or what is the downtime that we have to recover this issue? So these are all the data that will be available onto the dashboard. And end of the day, we are able to get that high level data, which is the water and energy balance of the building or the factory. So this is why this is how IoT can be used effectively in managing utilities of food processing units. So we have so this is how what can actually a food processing unit see in terms of, say, water. How can they look at the data? So we have been working with certain food processing units, where pickling plants, where they package it and with the bottling facility in house. So in these places, what we have done from the design stage is to understand what is the actual design requirement, and then in terms of real time, what does it mean? So this is a factory which produces about 60 tons of food product. They actually require about 60,000 liters of wash water, which is basically to wash the bottling process. They use it, and also raw washing of the produce. And then there is process water. So the 20 kL of process water, which is shown here, is basically sent through an RO plant, which requires 20,000 for generating 20,000 liters of water. You'll have to spend about another 2 times of water from in an RO plant. So that water is again managed, and it becomes a wastewater, or reject water, which goes to recycling plant. So again, there is workers who need water. So, but an overall picture like this is very important to get to understand or go further into fixing where to have IoT in this infrastructure. So basically, if you look at this particular factory, the water balance between fresh and recycled is about 64 to 36%. So this is at the benchmark that we have set a factory with. So tomorrow, with more advanced technologies, today, there are a lot of advanced technologies. You can use recycling water back 100% with zero liquid discharge to recover. So how does the cost go up? So in this current example, what I'm showing here, there is a freshwater cost. The customer spends is about 90 rupees per kiloliter per day. And the recycled water, which means treatment through an effluent, through a sewage or effluent treatment plant, and processing it through ultrafiltration, they spend about 35 rupees per kiloliter. So this is a very important high-level metrics that is required for any factory, which we believe will help implementing IoT. IoT can't be just a few sensors that is installed and suddenly we get results. So with our experience, we feel these are some of the high level metrics that is required. For example, for in the 35 rupees for recycled water, there is also an energy cost. There's cost of chemicals. There's cost of the manpower that is required for treatment. And combining all these costs is where we come at the recycled water cost. So today, these are all very important aspects that has to be monitored, and then eventually take appropriate decisions on how to improve the efficiency. So I'm just sharing a flow diagram of a wastewater treatment plant. Basically, this is there in most of the factories where they produce. All the wastewater has to be discharged properly or recycled well. So this in these kind of places, we actually put a set of sensors. The flow sensors. There are quality sensors. And one of the things that as a company we have developed is we've developed a system for real-time monitoring of wastewater treatment plants, which gives BOD, COD, all these highly critical parameters, all these things on real time for the factory for self-surveillance, and also it helps the local pollution board to also have data on what is happening in these treatment plants. So basically, these are the ways in which we can deploy sensors. There are level sensors, pressure sensors. So performance of the entire plant can be known, and end of the day we'll also get something called as rupees per kiloliter. So today, if you're using an advanced technology, it can go up to 35 to 40 rupees per kiloliter for treatment of water. And are we really meeting this? This operational data is 100% available through IoT, and we can monitor it on real time. So then comes is the last part, which is once you have all the data that you have generated from these sensors, it goes into a cloud platform, and you need to have different types of views to look at it. So this is one of the areas that we have been working with different factories and different customers to understand how do they want to really look at it. Like, for example, there's a production happening at this time. So what is the peak load? Is there a variation in the quality that is coming in? So all these things will help engineering team or a team which is operating a factory to basically make sure that all the regulatory requirements are also met and reuse water is available. So this is basically a sunburst view where customer gets to know how much has been treated on real time. So what is the cost at which it is being treated? How many alerts have been generated in the entire month? So these are some of the critical data that will be available once we move into an IoT-based setup to manage. So in terms of water utilities, also you can get in detail how much is the quality of each parameter each hour. Then you can put benchmark in last 90 days. How has the quality been going? So these are all. So this ORP plays a very important role in food processing because it tells you the amount of disinfection that has happened in water. So ORP, once it is controlled through a dosing pump, basically it gives you consistent quality. So we have been doing this with most of our installations where we have an ORP meter, which basically ORP is oxidation reduction potential, basically giving you information on that water is having about 1 ppm of or whatever required quantity of residual chlorine that you need. So this is a very important aspect that we have seen in food processing industry, and auto disinfection with data enables a lot of problem solving. We also have sensors like turbidity that we put at different stages. How turbid is the water? Is it within the limits? Then there are sensors like the TDS. So basically, what I'm saying is once you have an infrastructure connected with a lot of sensors, we get an output of a dashboard which is used for analyzing the data. So just to brief on our customers, we've been working with different types of customers. We have industries where automobile and food processing industries where we have seen a lot of data which helps them to plan for the seasons. How do we plan for the coming season? So what is the amount of effort that we've also been able to successfully show them the ROI by doing IoT. So that's I feel once anybody is going to a new technology, there is a need to understand the ROI, and also making sure that it's important for us to get these. Yeah. Thank you very much for this opportunity. If you have any questions, please do